I'm seeing like the prompts you're saying are usually good prompts for people like running out of inventory or needing more funding to scale. Because most people, I would say, listening to this, and 89% of the people are probably like, man, I can't even get my Facebook to work. And I'm quite curious to hear like why is that the case? Like from your assessment, why does Facebook work better for some brands than the other, even if they do the same exact thing? Is there a difference for how you can run Facebook ads for a brand at a certain AOV or a certain like brand recognition versus a brand who's very well known, has a large audience already? What is the different ways to approach these two type of businesses?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I've had the luxury because I have students and clients from all over the world and have been doing it for many years. I've had basically the same business come to me 20, 30, 50 times, like over the years, right? And that's happened all sorts of times. And what I can say is the most important thing in running your Facebook ads is the business model. I think more than anything, outside of running Facebook side, but what happens after the click is so tragically undervalued. Um, I've seen two businesses running basically the exact same. I saw two skincare brands run basically the exact same stuff. Like they were literally sourcing from the same place. They were white labeling more or less the same product. And one of them leveraged influencer marketing, Google, like search and email, and made a lot of money or made a lot of profit margin, but had a really hard time growing. And the other one heavily favored customer service and Facebook ads. And as a result, they ran at a much lower profit margin per transaction, but they run at a much higher profit margin per customer. And one of them went out of business in 18 months. The other one exited for an 8-figure exit in 26 months from founding. So one of them was a $24 million deal. The other one fired everybody and closed up shop. And
Oh man.
the big difference there is one of them focused on return on ad spend, right? And marketing efficiency. They were like, every penny we get is supposed to bring in more stuff. The problem is, if you're not feeding the pool and you're not generating return income, then you ultimately don't have a business model built to scale. And I want to give credit to Cody Plofker of Jones Road Beauty, who said something on a podcast. And he said, I think it was a tweet or in a podcast, but he said, a good business will scale an ad account. And I think I've tried to say that exact same thing for years and years and years, but sometimes just somebody saying it so simple and beautiful, like you can't get better than that.
Quick fire question for you, quick fire answers. What are the three things that you absolutely need to do right now to succeed on Facebook?
I think the three things that I highly recommend everybody do is one, embrace broad as soon as possible. Remember, broad is a noun, not an adjective. It is age, gender, and location. Every bit of targeting you put on top of that adds to the cost of CPM. Because ads do the targeting. That's an objective fact. So why not let the system find the right people? That in mind, also, I'm using dynamic ads as much as possible. Dynamic creatives are tremendously powerful. Keep them simple, make them actionable. Every spend should inform you, even if it's a win or a loss, what you need to do. Let Facebook construct the end user experience in a way that is best for your business relationship with Facebook. And then the third thing I'd highly recommend is you need to simplify your offers and really figure out what is the most profitable customer journey for your needs right now. Do you have cash flow? Are you willing to invest in long-term lifetime value? Far too many people are promoting like 3 or 4 products, 3 or 4 offers. Like you can get to $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 a day on one offer.
Right.
Doing one thing exceptionally well on Facebook also makes everything after the click so much better because all of your customers are coming into the same thing. So you only have to manage one problem. And it's way easier to crush when you only have one thing to do.
Right. How important is a landing page, like a custom landing page for running Facebook ads?
I think landing pages are really important. I mean, at the end of the day, Facebook ads just get somebody in the door. A Facebook ad is nothing different than a TV commercial and a billboard. But what happens when they step inside of your store is tremendously important. I would argue that, Walmart and Kmart and Target aren't that different. They're giant stores selling boxes of things. But one of them is going to make you feel very different than the other one. And one of them you're going to probably spend way more than the other.
Yeah.
That experience matters.
Right.
I live in LA and like we've got Vons and we have Ralph's.
Right.
I would rather go into a Vaughn's than a Ralph's, even though it's the exact same stuff for the exact same price, because the vibe is different.
Yep.
And I don't think that you might have your choice, but that stuff matters. So I think it's insanely important to measure and improve what happens after the click. At the end of the day, no Facebook ad's going to fix a janky site.
Absolutely. In terms of creatives, there is a time when one particular type of creative worked really well, the direct response ads or like the as seen on TV type of ads work really well. For current times, based on all your accounts, what is the format that works really well for all the accounts?
I love that question because I think ultimately the answer is that there isn't an answer to that question. I would say every brand, like we're talking about the vibe, right, of the landing page and the look and the feel. Every brand needs to create, like, the purpose of your ad should be to develop a relationship and a bond between the customer and you. And for some brands, that's going to look like static images. For some brands, that's going to look like user-generated content. For some brands, that's going to be video. What's most important is that you try to figure out what problem you're trying to solve and then design creatives to solve that problem. If I've got 3 UGCs and I'm doing really well, probably I don't need a 4th one. I need a piece of content that somebody that's not going to watch a video is actually going to care about. So am I trying to be more efficient with my advertising? And if so, I probably want to solve the same problem, but better. If I want to scale my advertising, I want to try to make my ads appeal to different people because the ads do the targeting. So if I want to spend more, I need to appeal to different types of individuals. So the right answer is almost always what is honest with your brand and what solves the most immediate need that your brand has. That being said, I'm not a believer in any type of one creative type of format does anything better than anybody else. Because literally anything can work for anyone. And I think we've seen competing brands run UGC and static and they both work. I just think that some stuff is exciting inside of the echo chambers that we might all exist on online.
Love it. And one final question. Let's get a little controversial. What is a marketing myth that you're tired of hearing online?
Yeah, I would say probably the biggest myth that I want to really address, and it's funny, Dara actually released like 10 hot takes, and one of them I completely agree with. It's that the idea, I think media buying as a skill, as a job, as a career is basically dead. If you are spending more than 2 or 3 hours a week on your Facebook ad account, it means you're not doing a good enough job. Facebook media buying is a feature to an overall employee. Like, you have to be good at other stuff. Like my Facebook ads MBA program, I'm training basically everybody to be good at Facebook ads and be a CMO. Because you need to know that data. You can be a creative marketer, you can be anything else, but that's not a standalone skill that requires more than a few hours a week. So if you want to make a career as a media buyer, you have to understand that either you're going to be the person pushing buttons all over the place, or maybe you decided to do the easy thing of taking some part-time work, $3-4 grand per client, you're pulling in $100K a year, good for you. But very rarely is the idea of somebody's a good media buyer versus somebody isn't. What is way more impactful is somebody's a really good creative strategist, or somebody's really good at being a marketing officer and understanding the media mix. But